Hey everyone, it's me Shimon and welcome to episode 20 of yet another tech podcast. Today I'm joined by none other than Rajesh Pandey from iPhoneHacks and Namaste Tech. We'll be discussing about everything that happened during the recent Apple launch event, so all that iPhone 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max goodness and much more. So hop along for the ride. This is going to be really interesting. So for those who might not know about you, why don't you introduce yourself?
So hey everyone, this is Rajesh Pandey here. I am the editor of iPhoneHacks.com and I also run a YouTube channel called Namaste Tech.
Great. So if I had to ask, what is the current daily driver right now?
So while I write for iPhones primarily, my current daily driver is a Galaxy Note 10 Plus.
Oh, you shifted to Note 10 Plus. When did that happen?
Yeah, I got a very good deal on the Note 10 Plus.
Yeah, just like the S9 Plus. Am I right?
Yeah, something like that. So I decided to take the plunge.
So, did you opt for that watch as well? Active watch?
No, I didn't. I already have the which one is this? Gear
Frontier.
No, not the Frontier. The Galaxy Watch. So I already have the Galaxy Watch. So I use it. And to be honest, while this whole the Galaxy Watch is running Tizen, they are better than what Wear OS is, but their fitness tracking is like absolutely pathetic.
Is it?
Yeah, coming from a Fitbit especially, I can actually tell the difference in like how bad the step tracking and everything is.
Okay, because I see people raving about it. They have to close the rings, and that's like the whole meme about it. But it's interesting to know that it's not as good as Fitbit and all.
No, it's definitely not as good as Fitbit. Nowhere close. The Gear Active 2, the latest one they just announced and it went on sale I think last week. That one is still better, but this one, the one that I use, the Galaxy Watch, that's like horrible. The heart rate tracking is like another level altogether.
Alright. So, which color did you opt for?
So I think this one is the silver one, yeah.
Silver or the Aura Glow that?
Okay, sorry, for the Note 10 Plus, yeah. So
Yes.
the Aura Glow one.
What do you think about it? Do you like it the way it shines and everything?
But to be honest, like most people end up putting a cover on their phone, so it really doesn't matter.
But do you?
I do, especially after what happened. Last week I dropped, so 2 weeks before I got the Note 10 Plus, I was using the S10 Plus. I dropped it right in the middle of the road. It was raining very hard and dropped it in the middle of the road. I had no idea that I had dropped it. I crossed the road and I see, I dropped my phone. I turn back and I see that it's right there, face down on the middle of the road.
Wow.
It was raining hard. I went back, picked up the phone, and there was a car that was it was already it was so close to running over the phone. I got in the nick of the time, picked up the phone. ठीक है, जो भी. And then last week the same incident happened. This time with the Note 10 Plus.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Did it survive the fall or what?
Yeah. So luckily I had put a nice case. It was I think a Spigen case. So it survived the drop and all, no scratches, nothing. So yeah, that's why I started putting a case. Plus the Note 10 Plus and even the S10 Plus, they are very big phones. So ultimately you just have to put a case.
Yeah, but then don't you think S10 Plus is more ergonomic in hand? It doesn't feel as big? Okay, hold up. Future Shimon here. I just noticed this while editing. I meant to say Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus and not S10 Plus. That's why I was a bit confused when Rajesh replied, yes, but no, and then talked about Note 10 Plus. So there's that. Alright, back to the episode. At least I felt so when I held
Yes and no. The S10 Plus definitely feels more ergonomic, but the Note 10 Plus, the edges, they are a bit squarish in nature, na? So it just feels better to use overall.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tend to prefer the Note. This is something it's something with the Note 10, the S series. The S series will always have curved edges while the Note 10 will have squarish edges. So yes, while it makes the phone difficult to hold and it's very difficult to insert it in your pocket and all, but the usability experience is better on the Note series due to this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the screen curvature is less this time on Note 10? At least I felt it so. It's not as curved as OnePlus 7 Pro.
It's not as curved as the OnePlus 7 Pro, yeah, but it's similar to the Note 9 and the Note 8. The Samsung actually does it so as to ensure that you get the maximum coverage space for the S Pen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. So would you still opt for a curved screen or a flat display?
If the curvature is like on the Note 10, I'm fine with it, but something like the OnePlus 7 Pro, no. The OnePlus 7 Pro is like way too and all those new waterfall screen that we are hearing about. Oh man,
Oh,
not cool.
I certainly do not look forward to waterfall screens.
Seriously, not cool. Not cool at all.
And it'll be so weird to have like capacitive power buttons and that too on display.
Yeah.
That'll be very bad.
Yep. I wonder how they're going to implement it.
I hope they do not.
Yes, seriously.
I hope they find out in research and development like, okay, this is not feasible, let's not do it.
But looking at most Android OEMs, I doubt they do any kind of research and development. They're like, they innovate, they come up with something innovative, let's implement it, we'll see the consumer feedback and then decide if it's worth it or not.
Yeah, that's true. And out of all these innovations, I'm really looking forward to in-display selfie camera tech. Because I really hope the notch is dead soon.
But even the first few iterations, I think it will be something like what we have with the in-display fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, that's
slow, poor quality and everything.
Only time will tell how it will evolve.
Yeah.
And talking about the notch, did you wake up last night to watch the Apple event?
Yeah. As the editor of iPhoneHacks, I had a lot of responsibility on my head last night. So I was up till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you certainly did not sleep, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the whole event, like, let's talk chronologically. What do you think about the Apple Arcade?
So Apple Arcade, I think they did a good job with the pricing. Now everything depends on the quality of games they have. They showcased a few games. Some of them were very popular, like classic retros and stuff. But everything depends on what quality of games it ultimately offers.
Because personally, I literally laughed when they showcased the frog game.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're showcasing your Apple Arcade thing, and this is the game you showcase.
Yeah,
Wow.
because if they want people to pay $5 a month, they'll have to get some better games.
Do you think people in India would opt for Apple Arcade?
No.
Or more like it will fall into the same umbrella as Netflix, like 6 people will share it?
Yeah, it will be same umbrella as Netflix. 6 people will share it. There's no market for it here. You have to get the right kind of games. You get games like classic, maybe all those games that people emulate on their iPhones and Androids. All those classic games, maybe say Super Mario type and all that classic games which we used to play, 8-bit games. Maybe then people will start paying attention to it. But otherwise, yeah, it's all about the games. You need to have quality games. Otherwise, it's a no-go.
And since they priced it at $4.99, they even kept the same pricing for Apple TV Plus, which is it's pretty interesting how they're undercutting Netflix and all.
Yeah, so I think there's like maybe Apple realized that okay, we know that we do not have the content with Apple TV Plus. The launch library is not going to be impressive. So let's just price it aggressively, because knowing Apple, everyone knows just how money minded they are. So for them to price the Apple TV Plus so aggressively, it's definitely a surprising move. But again, I think because they know that okay, we have some issues with our library. It's not going to be that impressive. We are not going to have all our original content ready for launch. So maybe let's just price it aggressively and then let's see how it goes.
And another interesting part is they're literally giving away 1 year of subscription for free for new device owners.
Yeah, so again the same thing. They probably know that okay, our content library is going to suck. It's not going to be that impressive, because the thing with Apple right now is Disney ultimately they like own half the studios. They have all the best content.
Everything.
Yeah, so there's that. There's also the fact that no one knows if Disney is willing to license their content to Apple for Apple TV Plus. Ultimately, Apple just cannot rely on its own content, especially when it launches Apple TV Plus, because right now half the shows for Apple TV Plus are still in production. They only have like 1 or 2 shows that will be ready when Apple TV Plus launches on November 1st. So you need to still have other content, right? No one is going to pay $5 a month just to watch your 2 TV shows or maybe 1 movie that you make. You need to have other content like Netflix, like Prime Video. So this is something that will be interesting to see.
So I think this is why they priced it so low.
Yeah.
Because they knew they won't have anything ready for the launch. So they'll be like, okay, pay us less. Once you get on board with the platform, we will charge more.
Yeah, it's like they want to first get people on it and then they'll see how it goes.
And they'll boast their numbers. We have X amount of people on our platform in Y amount of days. Wow.
Yeah, it's Apple. So ultimately, they'll figure out a way to make a lot of money. Not just money, a lot of money.
Yes, a lot of money. And since we were talking about smartwatches a while ago, what do you think about the 5th generation Apple Watch?
So, to be honest, Apple Watch is like the only smartwatch in the market, in my opinion.
True.
There's no Wear OS is like dead. I don't know why is like Google should just कि भाई हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, just leave it. Because even if Google does come up with a Pixel Watch in October, they're just so far behind in the game right now. They simply cannot catch up to the Apple Watch. Not just in terms of software, but also in hardware. Yeah, sure. The Apple Watch Series 5 doesn't bring anything like something new to the table. It's just brings always on display, which is something that Android watches have had, and even the
since the first generation.
Yeah, even the Fitbit has it now. But even then, the overall experience of using the Apple Watch, it's not something that Google can match. Probably the closest that can come is Samsung, but they need to ramp up their effort on the sensors side. They need to use better quality sensors for better tracking and stuff.
I still remember like mocking Apple Watch for their first generation, like saying it's a square watch while Moto 360 is circular.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting to see how tables have turned.
Yeah. They've invested a lot in the Apple Watch and the fitness aspect of it, and it shows because see, there are so many smartwatches on the market, even smartwatches, and say even let's just consider fitness bands. But how many times do you hear that say a Fitbit or a Mi Band has helped save the life of its user, and compare that to how frequent do you hear with how the Apple Watch has saved the life of its user?
Well, do you see yourselves like getting a circular Apple Watch sometime in the future, or do you think they will stick to the squarish design?
So I think they're going to stick to the squarish design.
They're like just minimizing the bezels on the edge.
Yeah, they're just going to minimize the bezels on the edge, and that's about it. They are not going to, because the whole UI, if they go with the circular design, they'll have to redo a lot of the UI stuff as well. The whole half the UI portion will start cutting off and all. That's another headache that I don't think Apple will likely take.
And suppose if they open up the compatibility with Android smartphones.
Oh, I'm buying it on that day. I'm buying it on that very day.
Yes. Even me too. Like, I really need a smartwatch right now. My Moto 360 is dead. The 2nd generation is dead. I can't seem to find a spare battery. And I'm using a Mi Band 3 now. Have you used the Mi Band 4 though?
No, I haven't. I am looking forward to its release. But yeah, the thing with me is I need a smartwatch more precisely for notifications. While I was using the Fitbit earlier, before the Galaxy Watch, Fitbit has a great fitness tracking aspect and everything, but I realized that it's extremely bad at even mirroring notifications from my Android phone. Like, it just stops working randomly, and then like out of the blue, 6 days it will not work. On the 7th day it will just start randomly working. Then I realized that it's the notifications that matter more to me. So correct. Something like the Mi Band 4, it won't work for me because I need it to view my notifications. So I'm not really left with much options. The Galaxy Watch series from Samsung is like the only way.
So have you considered Fossil smartwatch, their 5th generation one? It actually looks good.
Yeah, it looks good, but it's running Wear OS. So there's that. That's like the end of the story.
True. I kind of want a Pixel watch, but I don't see it happening. Like, had it been in the works, it would have leaked by now. Like, there is no chance that it exists and it hasn't leaked.
Yeah, even if it exists, it needs to have a new chipset. Ultimately, you cannot launch a smartwatch with a 14nm or a 20nm chipset and then expect it to compete with the likes of the Apple Watch. That's not going to happen. The bullshit that Qualcomm spew on us with 3100 chip, I think we have all learnt our lesson. We know.
So do you think it is more on part of Google, like not refining their software or like messing up their software, or more on Qualcomm for not producing chips as often?
I think it's the blame for the Wear OS failure primarily lies with Google. If you are building an ecosystem, it's up to you to make sure that everyone works. You work with your partner. You tell them ki ultimately it's about the money. So the new chips will only come out if Google is ready to pay. Google can say, okay, fine, we will pay you this much of money, you make the chips, whether it sells or not, that's fine, we are still paying you. That's a risk you have to take. This is what Apple did with the Apple Watch, right? They right from the get-go, they shipped it with their own custom chip. They kept on building on it, and see now where they are.
Yes. The tables have turned.
Yeah.
Talking about tables and all, do you ever use a tablet on table? Oh, that was a very bad segue. But yeah, talking about tablets, like, do you ever see yourself using a tablet? Be it Windows, Android, or maybe iPad?
So I do use an iPad, but strictly for content consumption, YouTube videos, movies, and all that stuff.
Wow, posh people. Like, I won't watch videos on my phone. I have a dedicated iPad for it. So is it an iPad Pro?
Yeah, it's an iPad Pro because it has a quad speaker.
Posh people.
I need the quad speaker setup on the iPad Pro. I have no use of it. I just need it for that speaker setup because the regular iPads, they have stereo speakers and it's not loud enough. So I just need that quad speaker setup.
Wow, and I really love that 120 Hz refresh rate. Oh,
so I have the older one, so yeah, not so posh.
Oh, you have the older one.
Yeah, the 9.7 is the original iPad Pro, I think. And it's been working fine. I just use it for watching videos, so it works for me.
Wow. Seriously posh.
Yeah.
So, am I the only one, or the current iPad lineup is very confusing? Like yesterday I was trying to understand what's the whole lineup like. Do you have some clarity?
Yeah, so it's I'm not sure what Apple is trying to do with its iPad lineup here. It makes it's exactly like what you said. It's getting very confusing now. There's no clear picture as to, okay, the 10.2-inch iPad which they announced yesterday with all that whole drama about performance and everything, turns out it has the same A10 Fusion chip as the last iPad it is replacing.
Yes.
So it has the same chip as the iPhone 7. So I'm not sure how does that even make sense.
Exactly.
So if you have the 10.2-inch iPad, it's fine. Then why do you need the 10.5-inch iPad Air?
Exactly. And I came to know that the only difference between the new iPad and the iPad Air is literally the CPU. Everything is same. Everything else is same.
Yeah. So it makes no sense. Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes I think if you pull up some high-level Apple executives and ask them to explain us the iPad lineup, I think they will get confused themselves.
But I would still consider if you are in the market looking for a tablet, you're better off with an iPad rather than a Windows or Android tablet.
I don't think there are any Android tablets left.
Oh, maybe. Don't you get press releases from Alcatel, I guess?
Yeah,
I think I remember them sending a press release a week ago, I think.
The Samsung also, they also launched the Tab S6. But yeah, all those are not worth the time, money consideration.
Do they realize they have no market for it? Who's buying those tablets?
Yeah, I actually wonder who's buying them.
The last tablet I literally liked was the Lenovo one, which had a book handle, if you remember.
Yeah.
Like a cylinder thing and then a screen on top.
Yeah, no wonder it flopped.
Oh, just because I liked it?
No, but
seriously, it was nice. It had a kickstand and built-in projector and everything.
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, all those are gimmicks. Ultimately, it's the usability that matters,
Yeah, true. And it was funny how they also had that a hole for hanging it in the wall. I'm like, what? That is so useful. I have nails in the walls everywhere. I'm just dying to hang my tablet over there. Okay, so since you're talking about phones and everything, what do you think about the nomenclature change from 10R to 11 and so on and so forth? Do you think it's a wise move, or they should have stuck with Roman numerals?
So again, not sticking with Roman numerals is a good thing.
Yes.
And the consumers are really not that smart to figure it out.
Yeah, because the whole generation went by as iPhone X and not 10.
Yeah, so I wonder what would they have called the iPhone 11 then if it had the Roman numerals.
XI, of course.
iPhone XI Pro Max, man.
It would have been a nice mess.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you think about the iPhone 11?
So the 11 is a really good phone for its price. $700. It's a very good phone. Not as good as say some other Android flagships in some department, but yeah, for an iPhone, $700, what you get with the iPhone 11, it's pretty good. I do think like they could have improved the display a bit. Like, come on, that LCD display को कुछ तो कर ही सकते थे. But yeah.
It's still 720p, right?
Yeah, it's still 720p, and it's like the same or maybe a generation newer LCD panel than what they've used on the 10R. But ultimately, it's all the same. There's no improvement whatsoever.
I know someone will, tweet about this. They will say, "Oh, I can get Realme 5 Pro for much less, and it has 3 cameras. Sorry, 4 cameras." Since we're talking about cameras, I'm really, really glad Apple finally, took up the charge and added a wide-angle camera, ultra-wide-angle camera on their phones.
So yeah, the interesting thing is, before these iPhones launched, there were rumors, and including this, there's a reputed iPhone analyst, Ming-Chi Kuo. So he's very reputed. His predictions are like always bang on. Everyone predicted the iPhone 11 is going to come with a dual camera setup, but it will have a telephoto sensor. So, and this is something what we hear with the Pixel 4 as well. But right from the get-go, I was like, this goes against the market sentiment. And since Apple is like, they are so focused on usability, I was never really inclined to believe that they would go with a telephoto sensor, since it's rarely useful. It's not that useful compared to an ultra wide angle camera. So ultimately, Apple obviously did the smart thing. The whole rumor mill was obviously wrong. They went with an ultra wide angle camera, which is a great thing because it allows people to take photos in a completely different perspective.
And one thing which amazes me is the parity between both lenses. It's not like the wide angle camera would be of excellent quality and the ultra wide would be like okayish quality. It just gives you wide angle perspective. It's like the same sensor but with different lens, if I recall correctly.
So yeah, it's Apple. Ultimately, they are like, they always pay attention to detail in these regards. This is something where the Mate 20 Pro, the P30 Pro from Huawei, they were very bad. The Galaxy S10 series and the Note 10, relatively good. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the iPhone is going to be on another level altogether. There's an interesting fact though. The iPhone 11 ultra wide angle lens, it has a 120-degree field of view. The Galaxy S10 and Note 10 series, they have a slightly wider 123-degree field of view.
Okay.
So it's like a small difference, but yeah, ultimately the ultra wide angle camera on the S10 and Note 10 allows you to capture slightly more than what the iPhone 11 lets you do.
I would rather have better quality than 3 more degrees of.
To be honest, I maybe like if you ignore the color signs, talking purely in terms of quality, I somehow feel that they're going to be on par, or maybe there's a difference of maybe like 5-10%, but otherwise they're going to be on par, because ultimately you're looking at the same aperture and everything. So whatever improvements Apple can make, it's basically to their color science and image processing. But ultimately the hardware is, I think, is essentially the same.
Okay. So there's one interesting tidbit which I didn't know about yesterday. So I was under the impression that when you are in the camera viewfinder, you're shooting images in 18:9 or whatever the aspect ratio in iPhones are. So I thought you were like cropping into 4:3 pictures, but it turns out where the camera elements are, that's only for you to see, like this is also what you can capture if you go to ultra wide mode. Otherwise, whatever you see on the viewfinder is what you're going to click. So that was very interesting. I came to know about it in the morning.
Yeah, so again, this is something that shows how much attention to detail Apple pays compared to
other. Like, that's genius. Like, wow. Why didn't anyone else think of this?
Like, I'm waiting for Android OEMs to copy it.
Seriously, like this is what they need to copy. Like, please copy the good parts.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is they're showing you the feed from ultra wide angle camera, but actually the main camera is being shot, because the whole transition between lenses is so smooth, you don't get that stutter. Like you must have noticed in OnePlus 7 Pro or Galaxy S10. Like you can literally see the stutter, like, okay, this is the ultra wide lens. Now you zoom, oh, this is the wide lens. Then you go to telephoto. It was smooth. And I think they're just zooming in from one lens and then shooting from another. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it's very smooth.
No, I think it's probably due to the ISP on the A13. It is receiving feed from all the 3 sensors, and it is capable of switching between them seamlessly. The problem with the current generation Android phones, they were only receiving feed from one camera at a time.
Oh.
So there's always going to be that lag.
I see. So do you think this is something which can be fixed in Pixel 4 with their Pixel Vision chip? Oh, what's it called?
Visual Core.
Visual Core, yeah. Do you think it's something which can be fixed with Visual Core?
If Google pays that attention to detail, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Or is it something which only Qualcomm can fix in their own silicon?
No, if Google is ready to, but to be honest, it's a lot of work for Google to do. I really doubt Google is going to put that much of effort, because if they had to, the Pixel Visual Core, it would have already been doing much more than what it does right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's already been 2 generations in, and while it processes photos, that's about it. Like, we haven't seen much from it.
Yeah, it's only attributing to the speed, because I'm using Pixel 3a XL right now.
Yeah.
The processing is slow, but damn, the photos.
Yeah, so
totally worth it.
Yeah, so
like, this is a very interesting choice where they, cheaped out on materials and the CPU, but the camera, oh, I love that camera. So much better than OnePlus 7.
Yeah, but they screwed up the pricing in India. In the US, it's doing very well, so yeah.
It's dead on arrival in India. I don't think they would have sold more than 10 units.
And the funny thing was, when it launched, everyone was talking about it. Oh my god, this phone is so great, yeah, great camera. Agreed, great camera, but yeah, you have to look at the pricing as well, no?
I think some people were so optimistic, they were like, oh, it will be under 25k. Right. But since we're talking about cameras, do you think it was a nice move? Like, one iPhone 11 Pro has 3 cameras instead of just sticking with 2?
On the iPhone 11 Pro, yeah, yes. Because the telephoto sensor is also improved. It has a wider aperture, so yeah, it's always useful. Plus, the portrait photos that the iPhone 11 can any previous iPhone can capture, and even the iPhone 11 Pro series, they're always better than what you'll get on other Android smartphones.
Any day. I literally never use portrait mode on Android phones. I'm not worth it.
Yeah. So it's because there's a lot to it. It's not just about the background blur and all. Apple knows it. It understands that the focal length needs to be around the 50-52 mm range, like it is on a DSLR, for that perfect bokeh shot.
Pretty interesting. Did you see that? Of course, you were awake last night, but that Filmic Pro demonstration was so amazing.
That was so good. So good.
It is something similar to what LG tried with the V30, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. I recall that they tried something similar, but yeah, obviously the whole implementation on the iPhone is going to be another level.
I'm pretty sure 90% of people don't even know that LG has all 3 cameras. They've been doing it since 4 years, I guess.
Yeah, for 4 years. Yeah, it's the same story as HTC's Ultra Pixel.
Oh god. They tried.
Yeah, ultimately,
but then they left it.
It's the implementation that matters, how you execute it. It's not just the idea, but how you execute it that matters a lot.
In my opinion, where they messed up was after experimenting with M7, they stuck with the same sensor on M8.
Yeah, that was a bad call. And they even removed OIS.
No, OIS was there.
On the M7, but on the M8, they removed the OIS.
Wait, correct. M7 had OIS, M8 didn't have OIS. Correct me if I'm wrong, the satin finish on 11 Pro is across all colors?
Yeah. It's it's ultimately the way they have treated the glass. So
it's like Nebula Blue on OnePlus 7 Pro.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's going to be slippery, but looks good.
I'm actually expecting it to be less slippery than the iPhone XS and the 10, but yeah, let's see.
How? Isn't glossy supposed to be less slippery as compared to matte finish?
Yeah, so I think ultimately, no, actually on second thought you're right. Yeah, on second thought you are right.
And now my question is is it literally matte or does it look matte and it's still glossy, just like the OnePlus, what was that, Cashew White? No, Cashew White was OnePlus 1. That Silk White, yes, in OnePlus 6, that was Silk White, which looked matte but it was actually glossy. Same with Nebula Blue, it looks matte but it is glossy.
So I think for this question it will be better if I get to use the phone. I have yet to try it, but I think
Wait, you haven't used OnePlus 7 Pro?
no, for the iPhone I need to.
Oh, okay,
but
okay, yeah. Of
uh,
course.
but I think it will be something like the iPhone 7. It was available in a jet black and a matte black color or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's not the jet black finish here, but the matte black finish is going to be similar. So yeah, that phone was relatively very slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will be something in the same ballpark.
So, do you see yourself buying an iPhone 11 Pro?
No way.
No way?
No.
Not even for the cameras or anything?
No. Even if the cameras are good, the problem is iOS is not for me. It's way too limited for my use case.
Yes, and plus I'm like already heavily invested in Google's ecosystem. So I'm like, okay, it'll be too much of an issue to switch everything.
To be honest, I like the whole Google experience on iPhone is not that bad. You have all the apps and stuff. So yeah, you're probably only going to miss Google Assistant. But the
Not that I use it every day.
but I use that whole OK G thing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not using the keyboard because it will trigger my devices.
So do you use it on your phone or do you have like...
No, I use it on my phone a lot.
Okay, so what's the use case like?
Setting alarms, calling people when I'm in the car,
Oh,
reading my
interesting.
messages in case, or maybe replying to messages.
I only use Alexa. Alexa, stop. Please. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I use Echo Dot, so that's completely fine. Yeah, I don't feel the use case for Google stuff. I don't know. Maybe I need to own one to use it. Otherwise, I really don't use it on my phone as much.
So I had a Google Home, but the problem with it was, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was due to my internet, Geo Fiber or something. But after like every few hours, it used to just stop working. Sorry, I couldn't connect to the internet. Sorry, I couldn't connect to the internet.
Wow.
Everything was fine. I just had to like switch it off, power it on again, wait for a few seconds, and then it used to start working properly. But after a few hours, back to the square one.
Wow, that's odd. They didn't talk about Siri at all, right?
Yeah.
Like no improvements, nothing.
No. I guess they realized just how bad Siri is.
It's still better than Bixby though.
Yeah.
Don't you use Bixby on your Note 10 Plus?
No, I like the day I got it, I disabled everything related to Bixby. Everything.
Do you feel odd that the power button and volume button was already there on the left side, but what do you think about the power button on the left? Is it weird?
It's a bit weird, but I'm actually really glad they got the double press power button to launch the camera shortcut back.
Oh, finally?
Yeah, finally. So like that's a big deal for me. I'm incredibly glad it's back because it's a feature that has been missing from like other Android devices due to the Indian laws.
Even OnePlus reverted this decision. Like up till OnePlus 5, you couldn't do it. But suddenly after OnePlus 6, they switched and like, okay, now you can double tap to open camera, which is
I guess they realized the emergency number never worked. There's no point.
I think now it's for 4 or 5 clicks. I haven't tried it.
Yeah. I think it's there on the Note 10 Plus also. I don't know, some 3 or 4 clicks, something like that.
Like when you're in emergency situation, you're not going to count. You will just tap it and hope it works.
Even if it works, I doubt. Like even if the call goes through, I'm not too optimistic.
True. Okay, so before we wrap things up, let's talk about the Apple tag thing you just told me about before landing in this call.
Yeah. So they're basically working on tile-like tags. Tile is basically like small. They're like small NFC tags that you can attach to your bag, say your phone or anything, and then in case that that device is lost or something, you can use that tag to find your stuff. So there's a dedicated app for it and everything. The thing with Apple is how Apple is doing it is in a completely different way. They're using ultra wideband technology. So what that will allow is you will be able to, like, generally what happens if you lose your phone or anything, you are shown the location is shown on the map. And you have to figure it out, like walk and figure out where it is and everything. Like you get an estimate of, okay, your device is somewhere here, now you go and find it. Now the way Apple is doing it, since they are using ultra wideband technology, indoor positioning is going to be like way better. So you'll actually know that whether you have to, like, whether you kept it in your room or it's in the living room, whether it's in the living room, if it's in the living room, whether it's on the left sofa or on the one on the right.
Wow, that accurate?
Yeah, it's going to be that accurate.
Sounds nice. And I recall something around the lines of like with the same Apple tag stuff, they're also going to do airdrop thing. Like you can aim at people and then it will recognize that, oh, you're going to airdrop the file to that
Yeah,
specific person.
yeah. So this is a feature that's coming, I think, in early October or late September with the iOS 13.1 update. So what you can do is there are many. It again uses the ultra wideband stuff, U1 chip that the new iPhones have. You basically point your iPhone at anyone with the share menu open, and the AirDrop will automatically show that iPhone. And if you're sharing to like multiple devices or something, you can just point your iPhone towards one of the devices, and that device will get priority over others.
This is so cool. I need something like this in Android.
I just
So
want them
cool.
to bring AirDrop first, something like AirDrop. Rest you can figure out later.
Yeah, exactly. I need something like AirDrop because I don't use Share It. I just I stopped using Share It 2 years ago, I guess.
I never bothered with Share It. So like
Yeah, it was bad because it shows ads and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So like I switched to Files Go like whenever it was announced. I think it was announced 2 years ago.
yeah.
So I'm using Files Go since then.
Like Google had the whole stuff with them. They had NFC, they had Android Beam. They just had to implement it.
Why did they kill Android Beam? Like I think I'm not the only one who used Android Beam with everyone.
Yeah, so I think sometimes I feel like it's like there are different groups in Android division over at Google. They're like completely disjointed. There's like not a single vision when it comes to stuff.
That actually can be true. You never know.
Because the way they work, it's like it's evident. It's like it happens from different teams. It's not, it doesn't happen in like this. They're not working towards the same goal. Like with Apple, if something like this, like if they implement something, it's implemented properly across the board. Yes, they will screw up from time to time, but they have this thinking, okay, we are implementing it and all our groups should be aware of it.
Talking about which, did you get to try Android 10 on any device?
Yeah, I do have a Pixel 2. I tried it on that.
So, like, did you like it, the whole gesture navigation system?
To be honest, I tried it for like 10 minutes. So I'm not going to say anything about the gesture stuff. But there's also the fact that, to be honest, I have lost interest in Android updates.
Oh, so you're... Wow.
Like-
so you're like TouchWiz UI. Oh, wait. It's called
One
UI. One UI. Sausage UI. So is it actually good? I haven't used One UI at all. Like, I've only seen it and maybe use it for 5 minutes or so.
So I'll rank, if I rank all the skins, stock Android is still at the top, but now I feel that it lacks a lot of features. So this is something like, something as simple as ability to take scrolling screenshots.
Yeah, they said they'll incorporate it in next version of Android.
Yeah, so you're telling me I have to wait another year for that simple feature?
And that's like still not sure. They said, okay, we will consider it for next launch.
I think that's saying a lot. So, so I'm not sure if I still rank stock Android on the top. Yeah, in terms of performance, smoothness, and everything, stock Android wins hands any day. But still, I think in terms of usability and all, I'll prefer Oxygen OS and One UI.
Yes. I would rank like Oxygen OS and stock Android on top. And then pretty much nothing else.
No, One UI is very good. Samsung has genuinely done a good job. One UI is like they went unlike I was looking forward to the EMUI 10 from Huawei. I thought they'll do a whole UI revamp and everything like Samsung has done with One UI. So they have done something like that, but the problem is it's like only on the surface. It doesn't go ekdam skin deep. And that's the issue. With One UI, Samsung has went like, they threw everything they had about TouchWiz and they started fresh. And that really shows.
I hope they revamp even more and keep up the good job. Like, I don't want skins like Fun Touch OS and Color OS. Those are horrible.
Horrible. Like, some of the stuff in Color OS is like, did they even think this through or did they like just copy it? And let's just, like, we're done. We've done it. Implemented it. Now our users will figure it out how to use it.
Like, especially in Fun Touch OS, like, you literally have to do that bottom swipe for quick settings and all. Like, why are you trying to copy iOS? Even iOS doesn't do this anymore.
It's all very confusing.
So let's wrap this up. Where can people find you on the internet?
So the best place to find me on the internet is Twitter. I'm active there a lot. My Twitter handle is @epandu.
Great. Like, are you on MySpace as well?
I know I'm on Orkut.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. It was really fun, discussing Apple stuff with you.
Yeah.
I'm a complete noob in this area. Thanks for imparting your knowledge.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show. It was great fun.
All right, I'll see you on the internet. All right, folks, that's all for this episode. I hope you liked it. And if you did, like, share, subscribe, do your thing. And if you have any questions, queries, or constructive criticism, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is @ShimonIPS, that is SHIMONIPS, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Also, do let me know whom you'd like to hear next as a guest on the podcast. I'm totally open to suggestions. Alright, folks, I'll see you in the next episode.